So, alright, so first and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'Shem Shai, Ba'Shem Rakadash. We say double on say person, let a great most on the rule with our teachers or our apostles shoot, and with his salutations, so the Akim said the push with no truth and sincerity, day in and day out, and constantly in season or season with Shalom. Once again, going into a video here and touching upon the spit. I did a video, on the article where the spitter came from some days ago. Now I came back and now I come back to do a video particularly on this year, the inflation risk returns. Right now, or what I should say, do a video on the red side of this because it actually goes into like a series I've been doing, which is going into farming and how much things happening right now when it goes to like the fertilizer. Certain places can't get fertilizer. The oil prices booming, unemployment, grocery prices raising, right, and many other things that is happening that would cause a famine or a shortage of food, right. We also see the tensions brewing up in the Middle East. What's it's causing to come to shipment. I was just reading something, right, before I sat down to do this video. I was reading something going into it has oil spillage because America attacked some tankers today, which caused a massive oil spillage out in the sea. That's another thing by itself, right? So this is here. It's a story. Sorry, let's pause. All right, so I think I pause to get rid of the noise. Pause to get rid of the noise, but it's a story in two parts. Both are concerning. It's a rising borrowing costs, surging oil prices, more pressure ahead for inflation growth on your wallet. It's the 30-year treasury yield, why it matters. So I'll read this side by side. It's more to the red side I want to touch upon, right? So you say what a rising yield signals. To say a higher borrowing costs, mortgages, auto loans, credit cards, and business loans become more expensive. Housing pressure, higher mortgage rates mean fewer buyers, lower affordability, and cooling demand. More expensive government debt. Higher yields increase the cost of financing. The national debt crowding out other priorities. It says slower economic growth risk. Expensive credit can weaken investment, hiring, and overall economic momentum. Right? So let's go across. But say bottom line, yields above 5% mark the highest levels in years, signaling tighter financial conditions and more headwinds for the economy, right? And we already hear them talk about what economic crash, right? So you see this one here. It's a Brent crude oil price. It's a why it matters. Oil is a core input of transportation, energy, manufacturing, and agriculture, touching nearly everything we buy. You see what rising oil prices mean. Higher gas prices, pump prices typically follow oil hitting household budgets quickly. More expensive. So here we say higher gas prices, pump prices typically follow oil hitting household budgets quickly. It didn't say slowly, but quickly. Right? So your budget, you wouldn't be able to buy certain things. Things would be expensive. Right? They say more expensive groceries. They say fertilizer, transportation, and packaging costs rise, driving food prices higher. Driving what higher? Food prices higher. Because again, it's a series, and I remember I can't remember if it was part 1 or part 2, where I did the video on the fertilizer and how important fertilizer is to the farming industry and so on, right? And not having it or not getting it at all, it causes a massive problem, right? Now, I want to bring the scripture here. This is the book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 16, verse 22. It says, "For many of them that dwell upon earth shall perish of famine, and the other that escape the hunger shall the sword destroy." So it's what the scripture says, "For many of them that dwell upon the earth shall perish of famine," right? That's scarcity of food. Because with all these things happening, I realized yesterday, I believe it was yesterday, Americans was actually going around checking different gas stations to see the price and actually comparing it to times before, some months before, and the price of it today, and and basically it's very high right now. Some places I was reading it's some place in America, the gas prices is like 9.99, close to $10, right? So we just reading here, higher gas price does what? Hitting household budgets, and we don't know the economy, how bad it is right now when it comes to work and all these things, right? So you're seeing where the problem is arising. So as the scriptures say, for many of them that dwell upon earth shall perish of famine, and the other that escape the hunger shall the sword destroy. So even if you escape, this famine, there's something else waiting for you, right? There's something else waiting to affect you at that particular moment, right? And our scriptures mention the beginning of sorrows, right? So it's not just one thing happening. So it's a higher shipping and logistics cost, right? It's a businesses face higher costs that are passed on to consumers. It's a inflation risk returns. Energy price spikes can reignite inflation just as it was starting to cool. Oil near 115 per barrel puts upward pressure on prices across the economy and could erode any progress on inflation. So, hey, you don't know, see what's going on, right? But you see, talk about the businesses face higher costs, which means they would have to increase the prices. They might have to get rid of workers, right? And the rationing of food. They might be able to come and get one pack of rice. And even with that, you're already seeing this disease that's going on wrong right now. There's another thing by itself, right? Um, Second Ezra 15, let me read from verse 1. It said, behold, speak thou in the ears of my people the words of prophecy which I will put in thy mouth, said the Lord, and that's what we're doing. You're speaking with a prophecy, because one of the prophecies I mentioned to happen is what? Famine, right? The scarcity of food. Now, imagine in common, they know, if it's one thing Esau knows, that, hey, Jake love to eat, right? They love their belly. And rationing food, right? Rationing food or having food is like gold. Hey, here what's going on. Esau, Edom, right? Them being the wicked. They'll be like, all right, you'll be able to get this pack of chicken and this rice, but you would have to take this ship. Or, a matter of fact, in order to get food, you would have to have this thing inside of you, the MOTB, right? So, hey, hey, the time that we are in, man, these prophecies are playing out, right? Let's say verse 2, and cause them to be written in paper, for they are faithful and true. Fear not the imagination against thee, let not the incredulity of them trouble thee, that speak against thee, for all the unfaithful shall die in their unfaithfulness. Behold, said the Lord, I will bring plagues upon the world. Right? This, and it see that isn't the Lord sending these things. You see, the sword, famine, death, and destruction. And it's one of the things he mentioned that he's sending: famine, the scarcity of food. And we're reading about what higher oil prices, gas prices is going to cause. Right? Businesses to basically, some businesses would shut down. Some other businesses would obviously raise the prices, right? And many other things, right? They say the more expensive groceries, fertilizer, transportation, packaging cost rise. You might have to walk to work, and if you might have a work, so then think about it. You have to walk to work, or you might not have a work. How are you going to feed your family? And I'm going to lead to know a man is going to run into a man home, right? 2 Ezra 16 tell you about that. Running a man's house just to see where you have to eat, or he might even be that food. Cannibalism. Right? They say, behold, say verse 4, say, for all unfaithful shall die in the unfaithfulness. Behold, said the Lord, I will bring plagues upon the world, the sword, famine, death, and destruction. For wickedness are exceedingly proved to the whole earth, and their hurtful works are fulfilled. So yeah, and again, that's how bad it going to be, right? Um, Second Ezra 16 verse 37, it say, behold, the plagues draw nigh and are not slack, as when a woman with child in the 9th month bringeth forth her son, with 2 or 3 hours of her birth great pains compass her womb, which pains when the child cometh forth, they slack not a moment. Even so shall not the plagues be slack to come upon the earth, and what shall mourn, and the world shall mourn, and sorrow shall come upon it on every side. Sorrows upon what? Every side. So you can't escape, and that is why it say, if you didn't die by the famine, you will die by the sword. Sorrows on every side. That is the reason why you're hearing this year, you're hearing about a disease, you're hearing about higher oil prices, which will cause economic crash, famine. You're hearing about a disease, a pestilence being spread. You're hearing about war, right? You're hearing uproars, people protesting right now. We're also seeing, Esau making a move. If you watch what's going on in the news right now, you see that they're getting rid of so-called black voting rights. So, hey, the devil know he had but a short time, right? We're in the year of a as they say, a economy. Sorry, not economy. Sorry, a kingdom. A kingdom's lifespan 250, right? You know. So as the scripture says, and sorrow shall come upon it on every side, not some, not here or there, but on every side. So you're not going to escape, right? You're not going to escape. These things are coming. Famine, pestilence, earthquakes, wars, right? These things are coming, and day by day, we're seeing it. And I can't remember how much gas price is right now, but it's actually very high. From me and a brother was just talking, and we was talking about how America they themselves, they actually hide, right? They actually hide they actually hiding the actual price of what oil is right now, right? So, hey, so always be on the watch, man. There's a lot of things coming out right now. So that once again, I give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Kakadash. We say that once apostle, let's agree with Ruba, our teachers, our apostles in truth. And we say salutations, so the Akim, so the push with the truth and sincerity. Day in and day out when it comes to the in season and season, we say Shalom.